This morning we'll begin with the agenda for the Douglas County Health Center Board of Trustees, and I will turn it over to the chair of that, Commissioner Duda.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The trustees met last week, had our normal monthly meeting, but there were a couple of items for consideration that we wanted to recommend to today's county board meeting that were not ready a week ago, and that's the purpose of this morning's meeting. So having said that, Brandy, would you please call the roll?
Chair Duda.
Present.
Trustee Kavanaugh. Trustee Borgeson.
Here.
Trustee Boyle. Trustee Kraft.
Here.
Trustee Morgan. Trustee Rogers.
Thank you. The first two items for our consideration, I would turn to our administrator, Jim Tourville. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, trustees. Welcome. We have two items to present to you today and looking for your approval and for your recommendation that they be passed by the county board later this morning. There's one for extension for a line care for 2 months for November and December, and this is our marketing and a marketing contract that we have. And then we will have another contract coming before you sometime between now and the end of December to renew that contract. The other one we have is a contract with Nebraska Medical Center for Dr. Rebecca Wester as a clinical director for short-term rehabilitation. Great lady, we're glad to be having her coming. She'll be taking the short-term rehab unit and making that a success, more so than it is already. She is a internist in family medicine at UNMC, specialty in geriatrics. She is a partner with Dr. Tim Malloy. She is medical director of palliative care unit, associate medical director of a hospice unit, medical director for a ventilator unit here in Omaha. That is a skilled nursing facility and short-term rehabilitation. She was the 2015 American Medical Director of the Year nominee, and she understands value-based outcomes in healthcare. And so we're looking forward to having her. The cost for her is $42,000 per year. Thank you. Any questions or comments from anybody regarding either of these two items? If it is this board's will to do so, thank you. A motion to... All right, this will be a recommendation then to the county board, and these two items will reappear on the consent agenda at the county board meeting. Brandy, would you please call the vote?
Did that include adjournment? Never mind.
It can, I think. Let me jump ahead. I'm not aware of need for exec session. Is there any citizen comments for the Board of Trustees? Anybody wishing to address the Board of Trustees? In that case, the motion could include adjournment. Yes. Will the seconder agree? All right. Brandy, would you... Chris Rogers and Mark Kraft made the motion. Would you please call the vote?
Chair Duda.
Yes.
Trustee Kavanaugh. Trustee Boyle.
Yes.
Trustee Borgeson.
Yes.
Trustee Kraft. Yes. Trustee Morgan. Yes. Trustee Rogers.
Just for the record, I did read this just because I didn't read it on the way down.
Thank you all for a nice meeting, and we stand adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, trustees.
We'll move to the agenda for the Douglas County Board of Equalization, and as soon as the switch-a-rooney we'll have Dan call the roll.
Okay. Commissioner Boyle?
Here.
Commissioner Kavanaugh? Commissioner Duda?
Here.
Commissioner Kraft? Here. Commissioner Morgan? Commissioner Rogers? Madam Chair?
Here. Item A, approval of the minutes of the Board of Equalization meeting held Tuesday, October 18, 2016. And item B, call for our meeting and set Tuesday, November 1st as the date of hearing for certified assessment corrections reflecting the addition of omitted property to the tax rolls or increased value on property. Is there a motion to approve A and B?
So moved.
Second.
Madam Chair, I have a question.
Yes.
Is this does this cover the exemptions that we granted to Goodwill and Salvation Army and Habitat?
No.
Okay. Well, I was going to prevail on Commissioner Duda to raise the issue because he was on the prevailing side, but can't do that.
Oh, well, 6-1.
I was going to say, we're on the prevailing side.
Well, oh, that's right. I guess.
Yeah,
Excuse me. I guess I need to reread that. Okay.
So there was a motion. No, I forgot.
Motion and a second.
And we got a motion by Kraft, second by Duda.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you.
Please vote.
Yep. All right.
Sorry about that.
Motion passes.
Citizen comments. Is there anyone in the chamber wishing to speak to the Board of Equalization about an item not on the agenda?
Okay. See,
And please note, Commissioner Rogers' vote should be yes, not abstain on the previous vote. Seeing no one, there is one resolution, the approving applications for tax exemptions on motor vehicles recommended for approval by the county treasurer. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Does that include adjournment?
And adjourn.
Motion by Commissioner Kraft, seconded by Commissioner Duda. Any questions or comments? Please vote.
motion passes.
We will. We'll move to the agenda for the Douglas County Board of Commissioners. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Boyle.
Here.
Commissioner Kavanaugh. Commissioner Duda. Commissioner Kraft. Commissioner Morgan. Commissioner Rogers. Madam Chair.
Here, item A, approval of the minutes of the Board of Commissioners meeting held Tuesday, October 18, 2016, and item B, approval of claims submitted for payment process through Tuesday, October 25, 2016.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Duda, seconded by Commissioner Morgan. Any questions or comments? Please vote.
And Commissioner Boyle.
Oh, I'm sorry. Got it marked yes. Is it taken?
Motion passes.
Consent agenda, items A through O. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Kraft, second by Commissioner Duda. Any questions or comments? Please vote.
Commissioner, I apologize.
Yes.
On J4 of the consent agenda, and I apologize, my button wasn't working very well there. There's a typo on the agenda item, and I simply wanted to point that out to the board on J4. It got rounded, I think, and so it actually should be for the agenda item. The resolution is correct and the agreement is correct, but on the agenda item for J4, there are 16 cents that got taken off. And so it should be $44,165.16, and I wanted to bring that to the board's attention and correct the record for that typo.
As noted, and is that okay with the motioner and the seconder?
Okay, who made that mistake?
I'll put that
Yeah, please vote. Thank you, Teresa.
You really are watching the pennies, aren't you? That's good.
Motion passes.
Next, we have one recognition and proclamation for recognition of Cheryl Kessel retiring from the Douglas County Public Defender's Office after 29 years of service. And I don't believe anyone's here from that, but we do wish her well, and I would ask for a motion to approve
So
the
move.
resolution. Motion by Commissioner Boyle, seconded by Commissioner Rogers. Please vote.
Motion passes.
We have citizen comments. Anyone in the chamber wishing to speak to the Board of Commissioners about an item not on the agenda? Seeing none, we do have one public hearing, a resolution granting public approval with the meaning of Section 147F of the Internal Revenue Code of 1986 as amended of the issuance by the Douglas County Housing Authority of its multi-family housing revenue bonds, Blair High Residence, in the amount of $18 million for the purpose of buying the cost of acquisition, construction, and equipping of a multi-family housing facility to be known as Blair High Residence located in Omaha, Nebraska. The bonds and interest therein shall be payable solely from the loan payments made by the borrower. There are representatives from Bond Counsel with Kutak Rock here if anyone has any questions or comments. This is the public hearing. Is there anyone here wishing to speak for or against this item? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing. What is the will of the board?
Motion to approve, second?
Motion by Commissioner Rogers, seconded by Commissioner Boyle. Commissioner Duda?
Thank you. I just would be curious to know where, if there's anybody that can tell us where these are going to be built. Blair High Residences sounds like Blair High Road. It also says within the city of Omaha, and I'm just curious. Most of the Blair High Road is not within the city of Omaha.
I think it's the Dana, old Dana. Good morning.
Good morning. Tom McClay on behalf of Clarity Development Company, 144 South 39th Street here in Omaha. We are the developer on the project. Q-Tech Rock also is here. Toger Swanson is present to answer any questions from bond counsel. This project is at 96th and Blair High Road.
Thank you.
Is where it's located, so it's within the county. It's just outside the city limits.
Very good. Thank you. That answers my question.
Resolution.
This one? Where is that? That's on, D. I'm not there yet. Here it is, Mark.
Stand up there.
Yeah. No other questions or comments? Please vote.
Commissioner Morgan. Motion passes.
Committee reports, the first being the finance, nothing other than the budget report as presented.
Yes.
Next, nothing under administrative services and community services. Commissioner Kraft, you wanted to go to the podium?
If I may.
I think we should vote on that. Give your name, address, social security number, cell phone.
Executive
Okay. I'm Mark Kraft, 1819 Farnham Street.
You do live here.
And my cell phone, I don't have one. Okay. The Reverend Livingston Wills, also known affectionately as the Broom Man, was an icon of Omaha. He was part of the fabric of our community. There's a Facebook page that we've set up for him. He died in 2008. A wonderful man, walked and crossed many barriers that were presented to him. He was a blind black man who walked the entire city during a time when there was a lot of racial strife, when certain areas blacks were not accepted. But that didn't bother him, and he was generally accepted. He would go up, knock on doors, sell brooms. Once in a while, a negative comment would be made. But he endeared himself to the people because of his perseverance, his dedication, his hard work. And it could be 10 degrees below, sleeting, the wind could be blowing, and he'd be impeccably dressed going door to door. The same with the temperature being 105 or 108. He'd still had his suit, his tie on, and his hat. And he was just a very remarkable man that touched so many of us. We formed a small committee with the sculptor John Liba to create a bronze statue, placement to be determined because there's been some questions about where we want to put it. So we are going to get the statue done. We have a GoFundMe page. Donations can be sent to Downtown Omaha Inc. Foundation, and if it's somebody emails me at my county email, I can give them that address. But we have a resolution for him. We have on the committee his grandson and his great-grandson. Now, they're not here today. They both are at work. One of the things, they didn't know we were working on this, and we didn't know they existed. We had looked for a while for living relatives and couldn't find any. And then we sought help from his guardian ad litem, and she found a grandson and a great-grandson. So I'll read the resolution. I'm going to flip this over so we can show the other side. This is what we hope the statute will look like. Hereby be it resolved that, whereas long-time Omaha resident Reverend Livingston Wills was born in 1917 and passed away in 2008 at the age of 91, and whereas Reverend Wills was well known by Omaha residents for selling brooms door to door for over 50 years in order to support his family and his church congregation. And whereas Reverend Wills was warmly known to the community as the Broom Man, whom was blind and seen regularly wearing a coat and tie, carrying a bundle of brooms over his shoulder, making his way along the streets of Omaha. And whereas the Broom Man Project Committee was formed by a small group of residents with the goal of raising money in partnership with the nonprofit Downtown Omaha Incorporation Foundation to create and permanently affix a life-size bronze sculpture of Reverend Wills in Omaha. And whereas, per the committee's request, the Douglas County supports the Broom Man project and encourages residents to participate in helping the mission of creating a sculpture of Reverend Wills, who will provide him with a permanent place in Omaha's history. Now, therefore, be it resolved by this Board of County Commissioners, Douglas County, Nebraska, that this board hereby supports the Broom Man Project Initiative and encourages residents to participate and join in the project's effort. Dated this 25th day of October 2016. Now, before I go on, the Reverend Wills was a man of the community. We could easily have gone to some big donors and had this donated. We decided we'd like it donated by every man. We have some large donations. Our first donation was $5 cash. Happened as we were presenting at the press conference the sketches and the concept. A gentleman came out of the courthouse, asked about it, what we were doing, got in his, walked for 10, 15 minutes, got in his car, drove back, hopped out of his car and handed my wife $5. It was very touching because I'm not sure this gentleman could afford $5. And we have a lot of $5 donations, and it's amazing what we can do with $5. So thank you.
Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Motion by Commissioner Boyle, second by Commissioner Morgan. Commissioner Duda?
I just want to briefly thank Commissioner Kraft for making this happen. Reverend Wills, the Broom Man, was such a regular fixture in Florence and at Harold's, and then when you learned that he was that way all over the city, it really was amazing. And this is so nice and appropriate. I appreciate seeing it happen.
Commissioner Kraft?
Thank you. And that's an interesting thing because every part of the city thought they owned him.
Yes, that's right.
We on our Facebook page, we are running a tracking device that says, "Tell us where you saw the Reverend Wills," and we ask you to share it. And the comments are just so loving. I mean, this was a man of the community and endeared himself to the community. So thank you.
Please vote.
Motion passes.
By the way, this is the most satisfying project I've ever worked on.
Human Resources Committee, the weekly personnel report from Civil Service as presented, unless anyone has any questions or comments. Item 2, legislative issues. And at this time, we do have need for an executive session for litigation. Is there a motion to go
So
into
move.
executive session?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Boyle, second by Commissioner Kraft. Please vote.
Commissioner, yep, here we go. Motion passes.
For I said for litigation.
I just learned this last week. Whoever makes the motion is supposed to state the reason
Yeah.
for going into exec session, and the chair has to repeat the reason.
So I can't just say so moved?
It's supposed to, this is a new law.
Well, I'd like to say the reason I made the motion was to annoy Commissioner Duda.
What's that?
The reason I made the motion to go into executive session was to annoy Commissioner Duda. No, I make it for the purposes of
Litigation.
discussing litigation. Any other
No.
litigation? Thanks, Claire. Keep us out of jail, will you?
Is Washington County
Thanks, Teresa.
Commissioner Kraft. Motion passes.